Good morning, First Christian Church. Catherine and I are going to record our little chats in separate settings and then edit them together so that we can take our masks off and be able to talk better, and we won't endanger either one of us. We hope this will work okay for you. Which reminds me to tell you that these are incredibly unprecedented times in our church. I noticed on yesterday that Governor Beshear reported 5,049 new COVID cases on Monday and 52,000 cases last week. He said the Omicron continues to burn through the Commonwealth, growing at levels we have never seen before. And he said we're now in nearly a vertical spike, the likes of which prior escalations haven't seen. So you understand that the board, as you know, made the decision for our church to go virtual in our worship for the next few Sundays. I am confident you realize this was a very tough decision and not one taken lightly. But like me, the board does not want anyone to get sick at church. This is supposed to be a place for healing and health. It's not a place for you to get sick. I want you to remember that the board is going to revisit that decision at their next meeting on Saturday, January the 22nd, and we'll see where we go and going forward. But we appreciate you tuning in and being a part of the services and as we're doing them virtually.
That's right. We are back to virtual services for the month of January. And we did get some feedback that last time we sent out a link to how to get to the YouTube video. And so we're starting that again on Sunday, along with an order of worship so that you can follow along and do the call to worship or sing. We're going to include the lyrics. And so I'm going to walk you through what that's going to look like now.
On Sunday morning, you should receive in your email, if you're signed up for our MailChimp, an email, and it'll probably be either from me or from Donna or from Mickey, and it'll say that right here. And the subject will say the date and order of worship. And that's going to be everything that you need to participate in our worship service. So it'll start, and there will be a link to the YouTube, and that will take you right to the live stream video. And then as you scroll down, you'll be able to download an order of worship if you're not wanting to look at your computer the whole time, or you're just wanting something physical to hold in your hand and see. Otherwise, you can just keep scrolling down and you'll see just a very basic order of worship. And that will include the call to worship so that you can respond along. The hymns, if you by chance have a hymnal at home, I'll give you the page number and the verse. Otherwise, you can just follow along with the words that we have written down. We're going to include the Lord's Prayer, everything that's happening, the scripture, as well as the scripture in the translation that's going to be read. The slide for the sermon, again, the hymn and the words, invitation to communion, remembering how to give, including a button that if you click this, you can give now on our website. You don't have to do that as a reoccurring payment. You can do that as just a one-time payment if that's something that you're wanting to do just while we're virtual until we get back. Otherwise, remember that you can always mail your checks or you can drop them by the office. We are still here during the week. And yeah, so that's just going to be everything that you would need to know to participate in our worship service. So hopefully that will be helpful.
So if you have any questions about that or about anything for virtual worship, just let me or Donna or Mickey know, and we would be happy to get you the information you need, walk you through it, whatever you need.
I want to remind you that activities are continuing to go on around the church. This week we've had contractors begin painting and repairing some places inside our sanctuary. As you can see here, the painters are working on the inside of the windows, which is a very tedious job. There will also be some repairs made to the inside ceiling area, under the steeple in the balcony, and then there are a couple of places down by the baptistry that will need some repair work. We expect this work to take probably 8 to 10 days. Good morning, guys. Sorry to bother you. I asked you if I could take some pictures. How's it going?
Going pretty good. Going pretty good.
Pretty good. That looks like kind of tedious work.
Oh yeah, yeah. It's
So you don't tape it off.
uh-uh.
You just got to be real slow and precise, huh?
Yeah, yeah. That no Ray, he's probably our best cut-in guys. That one right there.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah.
The best cut-in guy. What makes the best cut-in guy? Just careful, huh?
Freddie. Freddie. He's talking to you.
Freddie, how come you're the best cut-in guy?
Yeah, you've been doing it for a lot of years.
You've been doing this a long time, huh?
Yeah.
All right. I appreciate you guys doing the work.
Thank you. We
All right.
appreciate it.
It has been very exciting this week. We have had 3 people call and join the church. So Jacob Cooper, Don Burton, and Donna Carol Burton Welch. That is just so wonderful. And so reach out, let them know how excited you are that they are officially members.
Another news item from our church is that the church went dark on Monday. We arrived at work and the phones and the internet did not work, so we had no access to the outside world. We did all we could to reset the devices ourselves and to research the problem, but in the end we had to call Spectrum and they didn't get to us all day Monday. They came out Tuesday morning and discovered that it was their problem. They were doing some updates and maintenance in this area and in the process putting on some new filters on the lines, and somehow they had missed us. So when they restarted their system, we were left out of the upgrade, so our phones and our internet would not work. I was a little surprised at just how dependent we have come on phones and internet to do the work of the church. We could hardly do much. But the quiet afternoon turned out to be a good time for me to do some research for Sunday's sermon. We'll just have to see Sunday if that did me any good.
We also want to mention some of our prayer concerns this week. So Yvonne, one of our custodians, was diagnosed with COVID several days ago. So she has been home this whole time and won't return until she receives a negative test next week. Then Jerry Boyd was also diagnosed with COVID. We want to keep in our prayers our other custodian, Katrina. She was in the hospital earlier this week for dehydration. Her doctors were just very cautious because she's pregnant. She's due in June, but she is back home and doing better now. We want to keep in our prayers several people who are dealing with health concerns and finding out more information, but including Ken Harmon, Nyla Wright Graham, Carolyn Burton, Lisa Norvell, and Howard Wilson. It's always tough to be figuring out health stuff, and so just especially keep those people in your prayers. We want to also mention Patty Wright's family. Her brother was diagnosed with kidney cancer this past week. They're still running some tests to find out more information, but keep their entire family in your prayers. And then finally, I want to mention Penny Vaught's brother passed away this week, and Joey Kirk's father passed away on December 28th. So we want to keep both of their families in our prayers as they grieve. Loss is always so tough. Joey's father's funeral will be this coming Monday from 12 to 2 at W.L. Pruitt Funeral Home. So this is just a few of the people in our congregation who need our prayers and our love, but we lift up everybody and everything on each of your hearts.
Small groups are continuing to meet at the church, but we are urging them to take extra precautions when they do. We want you to know that Soups on Us will be meeting as usual this Saturday and preparing meals for people who need it. But we will be taking extra precautions. So if you're planning to come, please be there Saturday as usual. And then on the following Saturday, on January 22nd, the board is still planning to go ahead with our planning retreat and meeting that Saturday morning. This will be a fun meeting as we review our purpose, our strengths, our weaknesses, our opportunities and threats, and then write some goals for this year and some strategies of how to achieve those goals. It reminds me of an old saying by Benjamin Franklin: if you fail to plan, you plan to fail. We certainly don't want to do that. I actually love strategic planning, and I'll be very interested in the plans that the board comes up with. You pray for the board as they have this strategic and important meeting on Saturday, January the 22nd.
And that's a little bit of everything that's happening around here. If you have any questions or need anything, give us a call or email us at info@firstchristiandanville.com. Have a good week. See you Sunday.